I am a huge fan of Sonic. I played so many Sonic games as I was growing up, and the Sonic IP gave me a lot of enjoyment during my childhood. From Sonic Rush, Sonic Dash, Sonic Heroes, Sonic Riders, Sonic All-Stars Racing, Sonic Unleashed, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, and my very favourite, Sonic Adventure, especially Sonic Adventure 2, which is the best Sonic game of all time. It has the best story, and it's the first game that Shadow the Hedgehog had ever appeared in. It was his introduction to the franchise, and wow, was his first scene
perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
It all starts with this. A jewel containing the ultimate power.
That's the Chaos Emerald! Now I know what's going on. The military has mistaken me for the likes of you. So, where do you think you're going with that emerald? Say something, you fake hedgehog!
Chaos Control!
Wow, he's fast! Hey, it's not his speed. He must be using the Chaos Emerald to warp.
My name is Shadow. I'm the world's ultimate life form. There's no time for games. Farewell!
Gah! Shadow, what is he?
Don't move! Stay where you are! Keep your hands up in the air!
Huh? Not again.
Back when this game released, Sonic fans were like, who is this badass, mysterious, powerful version of Sonic? Anyway, speaking of Shadow, I also played the Shadow the Hedgehog game, the most wannabe edgy game that you will ever play.
You're goddamn right.
Shadow the Hedgehog, a black and red Sonic lookalike that skates with hovering air shoes at Sonic speed instead of running, riding around on a low-seated motorbike with a submachine gun in his hand, traversing a city, deleting aliens from existence. I mean, when I describe it like that, it might sound pretty fun. And for me it was. It's not the most popular game in the Sonic franchise, to put it lightly, by any means, but it had one of the most hype introduction cinematics for its time. Whenever a Sonic game gets the rock band named Crush 40 to return and make a song for their Sonic game, you just know that it's going to be iconic. Crush 40 is the band that made Sonic's most iconic songs like Live and Learn, Open Your Heart, and Sonic Heroes, which is of course the main theme for the game, Sonic Heroes. And their song, called I Am All of Me, that they made for the Shadow game cinematic, is no exception. I can't think of many songs that get you more hyped to play a game than I Am All of Me by Crush 40, and it's still a great rock song till this day.
You can say that again.
So, now that I've given you a brief understanding of my relationship with the Sonic franchise, there are two main things to take away from this as we move further into the video. I am a huge fan of Shadow the Hedgehog as a character, and Sonic Adventure 2 is my favourite Sonic game of all time. So to no surprise, when I saw the post-credit scene of the second Sonic movie, where Shadow the Hedgehog was teased and shown imprisoned in a Bacta tank, I was absolutely hyped for the third movie. Not only was I going to see one of my favourite Sonic characters finally brought to life, in a movie made by competent people with a passion and respect for the IP and its lore, I also knew that they would have to use elements from Sonic Adventure 2 and the Shadow game. I expected to see a whole lot of references from Shadow's origin story with Maria and Gerald Robotnik, the iconic music, the Chaos Emeralds, the Chows, and more. I enjoyed the first two Sonic movies, the second being more enjoyable than the first, due to Knuckles and Tails being present alone. I mean, the more Sonic characters the better, it's really that simple. The previous two movies focused on the human characters way too much in my opinion, but it was obvious that with each movie, there would be less focus on the human characters and more focus on the Sonic characters, as more of them were being introduced as the story continues.
It's just common sense.
Anyway, here we are, and I'm sure that you've all seen Sonic 3 by now, and I don't know about you, let me know in the comments down below, but Sonic 3 is the best out of all three movies by far. We see Shadow being an overpowered badass as we should. We see Shadow's origin story told well and somewhat accurately. We see Jim Carrey put on an amazing and hilarious performance as he returns once again to play two characters this time, Dr. Eggman and his grandfather Gerald Robotnik. We get to see many references to my favourite Sonic games like Shadow riding a motorbike through the city, shooting a gun, Sonic and Shadow teaming up at the end, going Super Saiyan and defeating enemies in space and trying to shut down the planet destroying Eclipse Cannon whilst Crush 40's Live and Learn plays in the background. Side note, which is pulled straight out of Sonic Adventure 2, but instead Sonic and Shadow are fighting Eggman's drones instead of a giant monster. That was the original Shadow experiment, if I remember correctly. But to continue, we even see Chow Garden from the Sonic Adventure games, one of the most enjoyable and wholesome modes in game history for absolutely no reason, referenced as a restaurant in this movie. We get a variant of the Green Hill Zone theme, and at the end of the movie in the post-credit scenes, we get to see Metal Sonic and Amy Rose as they are teased for the next Sonic movie, which will be the 4th sequel, which is insane and shows just how successful these movies are, and rightly so.
You're goddamn right.
And I'm telling you guys, I'm sure you all understand, seeing Shadow and Sonic going crazy in space whilst Live and Learn is playing in the background, it's straight from the game, and it was just nostalgic and awesome to see. It's one of my favourite movies this year by far. It's simply a direct callback to the games that added so much joy to my childhood. It felt very nostalgic and I loved it. This movie is a great example of how to respect source material and give the fans what they want, which is something movie studios and Hollywood in general refuse to do nowadays. It's extremely rare for sequels to a movie being better than the original. But with this Sonic movie franchise, they just get better and better as they introduce more iconic characters, and I can't wait to see what they do in the next one. Now, you may have realised that I've spoken more about my attachment to the IP than the third movie itself, and that's because I plan on making a breakdown video about every reference this movie makes, with footage from both the movie and the games. Even though I'm not sure I can use footage from the movie because it's so new, and I really don't know where I'll find it, but I'll definitely use footage from the games and use as much relevant footage as I can find from the movie. This video was really just for me to talk about the franchise that I, and I'm sure many of you watching, really enjoy and have an attachment to. So please let me know down below what you thought of the movie, which references did you catch, what did you like, what did you dislike, what is your favourite Sonic game? Give me a top 10, whatever you want to do, just let me know. Let's talk some Sonic and speculate what will happen in the next one. Because seeing Amy Rose and Metal Sonic at the end it's just great because it's more iconic Sonic characters that we all want to see. And of course, I forgot to mention, Shadow is also not dead. At the end of the movie, they showed that he's actually very much alive. And he picked up one of the rings. I think it's the one that Sonic, Shadow or Knuckles dropped when they were saving Sonic. But yeah, there's no way they can kill off Shadow. He's too cool and they've got so much they can do with him. So we're going to get more Shadow. We're going to get Amy Rose, who is obsessed with Sonic. And then Metal Sonic, who is just an android powerhouse. And hopefully we get, even characters from Sonic Riders like Jet, Storm, Wave or Omega, whoever you want to introduce. We need to see them all. And I hope they make more and more movies going forward until people just get tired of it, which they will not. Anyway, speaking of Amy Rose, I'm going to add her song into the outro because why not? Whilst we're talking about Sonic, and it's not copyright because I've used it before, why not just sneak the song into the video? Anyway guys, this will be it. Like I said, let me know how you feel about the movie down below, what's your favourite games, and I'll be making another video covering all of the references in this movie, so look out for that one. But that will be it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.